Can you hear me now? What a disastrous start to the stream. I accidentally knocked the cable on my microphone right as I was talking, and I think it came out, but hopefully you can hear me now. It looks like it's picking up my voice now, so I'm sorry about that. It's been a while since we've had some technical difficulties, but we jumped straight in with a mic issue there off the bat. Can you guys hear me now? Let me know in the chat. You can hear me now. Okay. Excellent start to the stream. Hopefully that's not an indication of things to come this game week. Abdul says, Doggy, yeah, Teddy's here for the stream as well. I'm glad Teddy can make it. He normally lies in. He normally gets up about 10:30, 11, but he's up early and fresh for this stream, like myself. I'm still waking up myself. Just had 2 cups of tea, so hopefully I'll be good to go. Chris says, shout out to the dog. True Fandela, thanks for the donation. He has a -12 on the cards. He's looking at Dubravka, Rafinha, and Rudiger. I'm so scared to knock this mic out again. Hang on. This has happened a few times recently when I've been recording videos, and then I've only realised after I've been talking for like 5 minutes and I've had to go back and re-record. So True Fandela, he's looking at Dubravka, Rafinha, Rudiger, or Sar, Rafinha, and Mount. I'm trying to work out what you're asking. Is Sar, Rafinha, and Mount, goalkeeper Ramsdale, Rafinha, or Rudiger captain? Rudiger I think is a better captain. In terms of the -12, I think I like option 1 more, Dubravka, Rafinha, and Rudiger. So Dubravka and James are my planned transfers now. I'm going to make my moves on this stream. And I think a Chelsea defender is definitely the one this week. I think I prefer them to Mason Mount. So I would be looking to get in Rudiger over Mount personally. So therefore I like the first option. And I think Rudiger's the better captain as well. But I'm looking at Reece James now, so my transfer plans have changed a little bit. And it's probably going to be Reece James that comes into my team. I'm going to lock in my moves on this stream. Thanks for the donation, lad. He's on a wild card. 4.4 forward, Son Coutinho, 8 players for Gameweek 30, or Kane, Kulusevski and Ramsey, 9 in Gameweek 30. So Son, Coutinho 4.4, Kane, Kulusevski and Ramsey. I think I prefer the second option, but it depends on the rest of your team and how many double game week players you get for game week 28. But I think I prefer the Kane, Kulusevski and Ramsey option just about. I think Kulusevski is a good option. I think they might have underpriced him a little bit even, so I would say option 2 there. Covers you nicely for game week 30, and then obviously you'll have a transfer or 2 in the bank as well in case you want to bring in an extra to get to 10 or 11. Did I miss another message there? Let me scroll back up. Mikhail says, can sell it out for Rudiger for a -4, 6.8 mil in the bank, wildcard in 31. I think if I was going to wildcard in 31, I would just go all out and get James. You know, if it backfires, then at least you've got the wildcard to reverse back out of that. Morning, Matt. How you doing? I think I would go for James over Rudiger, especially if I was looking to wildcard in 31. Because then if it's the wrong decision, then you can right-size that. But in the interim, you've got a couple of game weeks to go for the higher upside pick. That's personally what I would do there. So thank you so much everyone for tuning in. It's a nice fresh Saturday morning. It's Game Week 28. Really looking forward to this one. We've got 1,374 tuning in already. Appreciate you all being here. Lots to discuss this game week, and I need to make my transfers still on the stream. I almost made my moves last night because Rudiger was going up, but I remembered speaking to Fabio Borges earlier in the season. He's probably the greatest FPL player of all time, and he always says he doesn't care about price rises. He'll make his transfers on the day of the deadline. The reason being is he always has that extra information that sometimes might come to light, which you otherwise don't get. There may not be any fresh information that comes to light this morning, but you never know. We could find out that Reece James isn't available for the team today, or Rudiger misses out. Some kind of last-minute information that can significantly impact the course of your season. So, for that reason, I didn't make my move last night, and I'm glad I didn't because now I'm leaning towards Reece James over Rudiger. Leon King says bench 1: Trent, Robbo, Saka, or King. I think it would be Robbo between those 4. Not ideal to be benching Robbo, but I think he'd be the one. So let's do a quick news roundup. Starting with Wolves. Bruno Lage said that Semedo's the only absentee. However, a supposed Wolves in the know said that Aït-Nouri was also absent from training, so something to bear in mind. I don't think many people were looking to bring in Aït-Nouri, but just something to bear in mind. I think there's better options in that Wolves defence, such as Kilman, Cody. Some Chelsea news. Tuchel says no fresh injuries. I have to talk to the fitness coaches and doctors. As Piliqueta was not in training, be a bit too close. And he also says that Reece James did training, so no problems so far. It's good. So more on that later. But this is the other thing that tipped me towards going for Reece James. Some Newcastle news. Eddie Howe's going to make a late call on St. Maximin's fitness. It's a shame that he picked up this injury because I think he would be in a lot of teams heading into these back-to-back double game weeks for Newcastle. Instead, we're forced to look at the likes of players like Wood. Fraser maybe not a bad shout, or Willock, but I think St. Maximin would have been our go-to if he was available for selection. Samuel Martin has tweeted the Leicester lineup to play today against Leeds, and Vardy's back in the starting 11. Vardy's an interesting one because he did very well on his return from injury, scored and assisted off the bench against Burnley. And more on this later, but Leicester are a team who have quite a few postponements, so Leicester are going to have several double game weeks for the tail end of the season. Game week 33, they'll almost certainly have a double game week, but they'll have a few more as well. So Vardy could be a very interesting pick for the run-in. Some Southampton news. Hassan Hutel confirms that Walker Peters had a little bit of problems with his hamstring, which is why he was subbed. This was back in the FA Cup game. Again, I'm not sure if anyone was looking to bring in Walker Peters, but I thought I'd just highlight that. And lastly, some Man City news. Ruben Diaz will be out for 4 to 6 weeks with a hamstring injury, Pep Guardiola has announced. Awful news for Man City. I suppose it means the likes of Laporte are more nailed to play every game. Perhaps John Stones now becomes an option for the next month or so. Anurad says, which Chelsea mid to get? Is Ziyech an option? I've not looked at him, to be honest with you. I think if I was getting a Chelsea mid, it would be Havertz, first choice, and then probably Mount. But I don't think the Chelsea mids are good options unless you're on a free hit, or perhaps unless you plan to wildcard 31 or something like that, so it's a short-term punt. But I think the Chelsea players are kind of a transfer in. The Chelsea mids are a transfer in, and then you end up wanting to transfer them straight back out. So I would probably avoid Ziyech, I'd probably avoid Havertz and Mount unless you're on a free hit, or like I say, plan to wildcard in 31. Ranarag says, what would you do if Aït-Nouri playing with more chances of being benched, or sell for a -4 to Kilman and Cody, already taking a -4 for Bowen and Cancelo to Raf and Rudiger or James? It's a good -4. I don't think I'd take an extra -4. I don't think I'd take a -8 to go Aït-Nouri to Kilman and Cody. Obviously, there's a good chance that Aït-Nouri still plays, so I think it's way too sideways. So I'd probably just start him and leave it as is. Brian asks, Rambo or Foster, and who would you captain? Rafinha, Salah or Rudiger? Rambo. Who's Rambo? Ramsdale. I've never heard him called Rambo. Rambo or Foster, who would you captain? Rafinha, Salah or Rudiger? I would go Rudiger. We'll have a look at the predicted points and whatnot later on. In fact, I just realised I forgot to prepare the predicted points. But Rudiger is among the top for predicted points, so that's something we'll certainly look at on this stream. I think I actually tweeted the predicted points yesterday. Let me see if I can find that, and I'll put it on screen. There it is. Can you see that just about? I'll open it in a new tab. There we go. Yeah, this is the predicted points courtesy of FPL Review, and they've got Reece James top with 10.6 predicted points. Mount and Jimenez joint second with 9.2 predicted points. Rudiger's up there with 8.9, so if I had Rudiger, I would certainly be captaining him. I'm probably going to get James instead, and he's going to be my captain, but I think Rafinha is a good option as well. Mount and Jimenez, hard to say if they play both games. Based on Lage's comments, I think, or Lage's comments, I don't know how he says his name, I think it was a rest for Jimenez. So therefore, I think he does start both, but it's a risky captaincy. I think the Chelsea defenders, Rafinha, Coutinho, probably better options. Quick look at the Kings of the game week, which is as follows. So it was Doherty who joined the Kings back in game week 27 with his 18-pointer. Of all the players, Doherty. If anyone's on our Discord, we've got a channel where you can get your guesses in for who you think is going to be the Kings of the game week. So there's little prizes up for grabs there. So make sure you get your guesses in if you haven't already. And if you're not in the Discord, links in the description. Who do you guys think joins the Kings this game week? We have had Reece James twice before, interestingly. Game week 2, Reece James got an 18-pointer. In game week 10, Reece James got 21 points. But who do you guys think joins the Kings? Aranya says, are Diaz and Kulusevski nailed enough, and are they better options on a game week 28 wildcard than Arsenal assets like Saka, since Liverpool and Spurs have a better double in 29? Is that Liverpool's Diaz? I definitely wouldn't be getting Liverpool's Diaz on a wildcard. He's probably competing with Sadio Mane for left wing. Jota's back. He probably competes with Firmino up top. So Diaz I would avoid. Kulusevski, he's an option, definitely. I would consider him, but not Diaz. I think if you're wildcarding now, I did post a wildcard video yesterday. If you're wildcarding now, I think you have to prepare for the next 2 doubles, but also blank in 30, and of course Spurs don't blank in game week 30, so I think Son, Kane, great options on the wildcard. Kulusevski, not terrible either. But I wouldn't say Diaz is nailed, no. I think Kulusevski is safer, but I've honestly not looked into him too much. I can't tell you how nailed he is, but I imagine he's pretty nailed. But I do know Lucas Moura is back from injury. Whether that has any impact or not, I'm not sure. Thanks for the donation, Matt. Appreciate that. No message, but thank you. Concept says, hi, bench Trent, Saka for Son, or should I just bench boost? Was hoping to hold out until game week 36 as I still have my wild card. It depends on the rest of your bench, but it's obviously not ideal to be benching Trent and Saka. They're 2 pretty high ceiling players, so if the rest of your bench looks capable enough of getting the sort of return you'd expect from a bench, 15 points, 20 points, then I would say absolutely go for it. But yeah, it's hard to say without knowing the rest of your bench, but I would be inclined to bench boost. So this is the Kings of the Game Week. I'll just read it out for any audio listeners. They've got Sarr in goal. They've got Rudiger, Bednarek and Shah, back 3. Interesting picks there. Midfield is Salah, Mount, Coutinho captain, Willock, and then front 3 is Kane, Jimenez and Adams. What do you guys think of the team? Janega says he's got 2 free transfers. Would you go for double Chelsea defence with James and Rudiger, or 1 Chelsea, 1 Wolves defender? Which ones then? Currently got 7 for game week 30. 2 free transfers. I would be getting in James and Rudiger if you have the option to. I think James and Rudiger are outstanding picks for this game week, for this double game week. Burnley and Norwich doesn't get much better than that. That's what I would do. I think I would avoid the Wolves defender if you can get James and Rudiger, and I would double up. Where did I get to on the chat? Did I miss your message, Mohammed? Sorry, let me scroll back up. Where was it? Bear with me. Apologies if I miss any messages. It's hard to see them all. Even the super chats, it like shows them temporarily, and then they're gone after like 30 seconds, and I have to scroll back up. It's crazy. Surely there should be like an option to dismiss it once you've acknowledged it or something. Mohammed says, buy Rudiger, Willock, Adams, or Thiago Silva, Coutinho, and Broja. Rudiger, Willock, Adams, or Thiago Silva, Coutinho, and Broja. I think I like the second option just about edges it. But the problem with Coutinho, he's got such a good double, even a captain option, but Aston Villa's fixtures are pretty horrendous long term, so you will have to probably move him back on in a few game weeks, so it's something to bear in mind. But I like the Broja pick, I like the Thiago Silva pick. Coutinho as well is a great pick, so I think that one just about edges it, but it's very close between the two. Broja obviously came off the bench in the FA Cup, had an impact, scored and added time, so I think he's an excellent option, even though Adams has been in better form in the league. Where did I get to? Concept. Oh, no, I did that one. Sorry, Concept. Liam says, hey, Oscar, Ramsdale or Sarr on a wild card? It depends on your second keeper. If I was on a wild card, I'd probably have Sarr and Pickford as my 2 keepers. I posted a wildcard video yesterday, and I kind of went into why those would be my 2 keepers, but I think I'd actually have Pickford. As we get towards the tail end of the season, you have to look at all the teams and ask yourself which ones have got everything to play for, and which ones are, sort of on the beach, nothing left to play for. It's a recurring theme every season, and I think we're almost at that point now. And you look at Everton, they've got everything to play for. They could drop into the relegation zone this game week, so I think Pickford's a very underrated pick for 4.9. As we'll look at later, Everton have 4 postponements as it stands, so they're going to have several double game weeks to come, possibly as soon as game week 31 or 32. Ivan Albert says, bench Vardy or Jimenez. Oh, don't want to bench either of those, surely. That's really tough. I think I'd bench Jimenez, gun to my head. And it's Vardy against Leeds. He's confirmed or leaked to be in the starting 11. But that's not ideal. There must be someone else you can bench there, Ivan. Surely. Janega says, got 2 free transfers. Would you go double Chelsea defence with James and Rudiger? Oh, I did that one, sorry. I'm all over the place this morning. Jack Milner says, oh, I've lost it. It just jumps off the screen as soon as I get to it. Sorry. Bear with me. He says, Mount, Salah and Rafinha for captain. Are you tempted to bench boost in 29? I've used my bench boost already. I used it back in Gameweek 11 and got quite lucky with it. I had Foster on my bench and he saved a penalty against Arsenal, so that was fortunate, but I've used it already. If I hadn't used it already, then I would be using it this Gameweek or 29 probably, unless I haven't used my wildcard yet, in which case I would probably use it later in the season, immediately after a wildcard. Perhaps you could use your wildcard in 35 and then bench boost 36, which is expected to be the biggest double Gameweek of the remainder of the season. I'm trying to find your message, Chris. Cannot for the life of me find it. Ask it again in chat, Chris, and I'll have a look for it. Aloe Black says, Captain Salah or Rafinha. Rafinha's on higher predicted points. I think Salah's been overlooked, I'll be honest, but Rafinha's got the high predicted points. He's got 2 fixtures. Could be a new manager bounce there, hard to say, but I think Rafinha's just about edges it there. Andrea says, Havertz or Salah as captain. Between those two, I think you have to back the double Gameweek player again, Havertz, but not a massive fan of captain and Havertz. I think there's better options. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for your message, Chris. Apologies I missed that. Matt says, Pope to Dubravka and me to James leaves me 0.2 mil short. Who do you think is the best replacement for Weghorst? I'm planning to bench boost. Pope to Dubravka and me to James. Yeah, those are the same 2 moves that I'm doing. Best replacement for Weghorst. If you haven't got Broja, I would say him. There's not many options if you need to free up 0.2 mil, because I guess you're looking for a forward who's 6.3 or less, and that's really slim pickings, to be honest with you. Maybe Hwang. But yeah, there's not many options that are 6.3 mil or less. Let me know in the chat if there's any other forwards I'm not considering. But yeah, if you're looking for a 6.3 mil forward, the only 2 that spring to mind are Broja and Hwang right now. Ijan says, good day to you, Mr. Focal. Good day to you, Mr. Ijan. Thank you for being here. If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, do hit like on it. Massively appreciated. Supports the channel. And of course, subscribe if you're not already. So let's have a quick look at the fixture ticker, which is as follows. So Gameweek 28, 29 and 30 are all locked in now. So 2 big double game weeks ahead of us, and then we've got the blank in 30. And most notably now, in Gameweek 30, we just have 4 fixtures that go ahead. Arsenal play Aston Villa, Brentford face Leicester, Leeds face Wolves, and Spurs face West Ham. So my gut feel is if you can field 9 or even 8 players, and you've got some of the key players covered like Son and Kane, I think free hitting in Gameweek 30 is actually a waste of the chip, and I think you're better off using it in a future double like 33 or maybe 36, but I think we're going to have some smaller doubles in and around as well. But Gameweek 33 is going to be an interesting one because it's likely to be both a blank and a double. And not the sort of blank and double like we had with Burnley, but a much bigger one than that. There's going to be quite a few teams with doubles, but there could also be a couple of teams with blanks. So I think that could be a good free hit opportunity because you can navigate those doubles and blanks in one go without impacting your team too significantly. Afeni says, on a free hit this week with Sarr and goal and Rudiger, what other 2 defenders will you go in the 3-4-3? I would have Reece James, and I think I would have Saiss, but I think I would change Sarr to Dubravka or someone like that, or maybe Mendy if you can afford it. I think Chelsea defence is the way to go. Double up if you're on a free hit, maybe even triple up. And this is how the postponements look following the FA Cup results. So Everton, as we said earlier, Everton have 4 postponements now as it stands. Burnley and Leicester have 3. So this is why I think I'd actually have Pickford if I was on a wild card. As we were saying earlier, Everton have got everything to play for. They're at the risk of going down, and they could go into the relegation zone even this game week. So they're 4 decent postponements as well, and therefore they've got 4 guaranteed double game weeks for the remainder of the season. So I think Pickford actually gets you among the most out of the keepers for the remainder of the season. So that's why I'd have him. But annoyingly, Burnley do have the 3 postponements, and they could have a double as soon as Gameweek 31. And I'm looking to shift on all my Burnley players, so I'll probably miss out on their double game weeks, but I don't mind that. I mean, the Burnley players have done nothing but screw me over, so I don't mind moving them on. Chuka says, hey Focal, Willock or Rafinha to bring in, also Mount or Adams for captain. Willock or Rafinha, I think I'll bring in Rafinha. Leeds also notably don't blank in Gameweek 30, as we saw on the graphic before. One thing to have an eye on certainly is this graphic, especially if you don't have a free hit left, because you don't want to get to Gameweek 30 and you're left with 5 or 6 players. Some teams are set up like that, where you don't have enough players that you should have for Gameweek 30. If you plan to free hit regardless, then it's fine. But if you can get, like I say, 8 or 9, maybe 10, if you can get 11, that's great. In Gameweek 30, then certainly save the free hit, in my opinion. Mount or Adams for captain. I think I'd go Mount, but I'm not a big fan of either of those options, to be honest with you. I think there's better options like James, Rudiger, Rafinha, Coutinho. I'd rate them all ahead of those. Did I miss your super chat, Tim? Sorry, mate. Let me scroll back up. Gareth says, who scores more, Alonso or Jimmy? Really difficult one, that. I'd say Jimenez just about. I don't know if Alonso starts both. That's the thing. I'm just scrolling back up to find your message, Tim. Sorry, mate. Where was it? Heike says, can you check my wildcard on Instagram? You're better off putting it here, Heike. I can't pull up Instagram during the stream. Sorry, mate. It's a bit tricky to log in to Instagram or on my phone and pull it up. Ideally, I like to have it all on screen or to read it out loud rather than logging into Instagram. Apologies for that. Cannot for the life of me find... Oh, there it is. Tim says, thoughts on Spurs defenders or Willock? Spurs defenders, no, I don't think so. Not looking at any Spurs defenders myself. I think there's too many other better options in defence that we want. The likes of the Liverpool defenders, who had the double in 29. Wolves defenders, who double now, don't blank in 30. Arsenal, double in 29, don't blank in 30. Chelsea have a really good double now, so Spurs defenders are a no-go. Willock, I don't mind. I think there's better options than Willock, but I think he's a decent option. You imagine he gets you a couple of returns because they've got back-to-back doubles, so yeah, he's not a terrible option, Willock, but I think I like Rafinha, Saka, Coutinho more than Willock. Samoff says, can only do one, James for Tierney or Jimenez for Broja. It would be James, in my opinion. Right, I think I'm just about caught up on chat. Sorry if I missed anyone's messages. Keep the questions coming, I'll do my best to answer them. Recidive says bench boost. I've used mine already, so I'm not going to bench boost, but I think 28 and 29 are good opportunities to bench boost. Obviously, some people wildcarded back in 26, myself included, and some of them did that to engineer a bench boost this game week. In my case, I'd already used mine, so I'm not going to bench boost. My plan is to triple captain Salah in 29 as it stands. I've got a free hit and a triple captain left. That's all I've got remaining for the run out. Nicholas says bench Trent or Lacazette. Trent or Lacazette? I think it would be Lacazette. Sorry, Rohan. He says, what changes for this game week? What's the chip strategy leading up to game week 31? My changes, so I'm planning to do Pope to... In fact, I'll just flick across to the transfer screen. These are my planned moves. I'm going to do Pope to Dubravka. I was strongly considering Sarr, but I think I want Dubravka. The reason being, if I brought in Sarr, realistically, after this game week, I'd only play him maybe once for the entire remainder of the season. And he's 0.9 mil more, so can't help but wonder whether Sarr's worth that extra 0.9 mil for one game week. And I do have size. And the other move would be me to Reece James, and then I would captain Reece James. Those are my planned moves. Let me know what you guys think. There is a little bit of concern whether the Reece James starts both or not, and that was something we were going to talk about on this stream. And what led me towards James over Rudiger is obviously Azpilicueta is said to miss the first of the double. So I would say James is a lock for the first game against Burnley. But the other thing is that there's a 5-day rest between Chelsea's first and Chelsea's second game, which is a pretty hefty rest in one game week, right? 5 days, that would be a decent rest between 2 game weeks. So I think there's a reasonable chance that Reece James starts both games. So therefore he's coming in and he's going to be my captain. There's a question there, I didn't see who asked it. Is Maddison out? Yeah, we had the Leicester lineup for today. Maddison's not in the starting 11. He might make the bench. I think he was restricted to the bench in the Burnley game last game week, and he came off the bench. Sorry, Pratik. Ask it again. Apologies, I missed that. It's so hard to spot the super chats. I don't know why YouTube does this, but they show the super chats, and then after a second, it's gone. There it is. Pratik says, on a wildcard, Mount, Coutinho or Rafinha. Mount, Coutinho or Rafinha. I think Rafinha, but Coutinho is a very good pick as well. But I think in order, best to worst, it would go Rafinha, Coutinho, and then Mount. Damien says, start Trent or Cancelo. Trent. Right, guesses in the chat. Who do you think is the most transferred in player heading into Gameweek 28? Most transferred in player. And then we'll have a look at the most transferred out as well. One thing I forgot to mention just before I went live, but Rilligum became an fplfocal member, so thank you for that if you are still tuning into this stream. fplfocal members get early access to my videos, and there's a private channel on the Discord server where I give team feedback. I'm on there every day chatting, so definitely recommend it. And there's only one tier. It's not one of those where you know there's this tier that gives you that, there's this tier that gives you that, and then there's this highest tier that gives you everything. It's literally just one tier, and that's it. A lot of guesses for Rudiger, a few guesses for James, a few guesses for Salah. Most transferred in player is, just going to refresh it so the number is live. It is Rudiger. 542,000 managers have brought in Rudiger with half an hour to go till the deadline. Over 500,000 managers. Second is Salah. 416,000 managers have brought him in. Third is Che Adams. Not a terrible pick, Che Adams. In good form. 3 goals and an assist in his last 4. Jimenez is up there as well. Did get benched last game. Hopefully that is indicative of him starting this one. I'll start both of the double. My gut feel is it might have been a rest for Jimenez rather than being out of favour, but he's not been particularly great. Mount's up there. Willock, Coutinho. No surprises here. It's the double game week players besides Salah that dominate the most transferred in. And the most transferred out, it is Jared Bowen who's top. 464,000 managers have sold him. Second is Diaz. Of course, Diaz, as we said at the start of the stream, out for 4 to 6 weeks with an injury, so he's a definite sell. And no surprise to see Rudiger as the most transferred in. Probably a lot of managers making that switch. Antonio's up there as well. Fernandes, Weghorst, Ronaldo, Cancelo, Reguilon. If anyone's not got their voting on our captain poll, don't forget to do that. The poll's on the Discord. We'll have a look at the results in a minute. If you want to join the Discord, links in the description. Ahmed says, on a wildcard, Ramsey and Jimenez or Coutinho and Hwang. I would go Ramsey and Jimenez personally. Just not sure about Hwang's minutes. I think I'm a bit more confident in Jimenez's minutes, but it's annoying, isn't it? Because Jimenez and Hwang, they're not been particularly great assets, but they do have a good looking double and they don't blank in 30, so you're kind of forced to consider them. One thing I did actually want to mention, there's this site I came across. Some of you probably have seen fpl.team, but there's another one, planfpl.com. I'm not in any way affiliated, but it's I came across it and it's actually brilliant. So you enter your ID and then you can just see how your team looks in future game weeks. So for example, I could go, I'm going to go Pope to Dubravka, and then me to James. Which James? That one. And then you can go Gameweek 29 and just see how your team's shaping up for that game week. So then I'd have, I'd bring Salah off the bench, I'd bring Robbo off the bench. For who for? For Saiss, and I'd bring Trent on for perhaps Jimenez, something like that. And it's really good because you can just skip to future game weeks and you can see how your team's lining up in future game weeks. It's got all sorts below, like you can choose when you're going to triple captain. You can reset that game week if you choose the wrong team. So yeah, planfpl.com, really cool website. It literally launched a couple of days ago. So yeah, planfpl.com if you want to check that out. Another good one is fpl.team. I know that's a really popular one as well. I noticed that planfpl.com's more feature rich. So but they're both really good, to be honest with you. You can't go wrong. I think Live FPL also has a similar feature. Right, we'll have a look at the captain poll results in a second. I'm just going to put the link to the Discord in the chat, so go join this link if you are not a member of the Discord. It's a genuinely good FPL resource, and I'll be on there throughout the game week chatting. Let's have a look at the results. But before we do, some of the things that are on the Discord, we've got the price changes, we've got the lineups, we've got the live points, it's got the bonus points, game week stats, injury updates, top 10k stats, and you can actually just pick the alerts that you want to receive. So you can just choose, for example, if you wanted to receive the price changes, then you just click that and you get the alert on your phone every day. And we've also got a new channel called Check Rank, and you can link it to your FPL account, and you just do +L and it will tell you your live rank even in the middle of the game week. So yeah, if you're interested, links in the description. I'll put it in the chat one more time. But the captain poll results are as follows. Salah's top, 262 votes for Salah. Second is Coutinho with 196 votes. Very interesting. Third, just about, is Rudiger, 79 votes. Rafinha's got 75. 65 for other. I think I missed Reece James off the captain poll. He wasn't so much of a factor when I started the poll, but I guess he certainly is now. He's going to be my captain anyway. Jimenez 32. Oops, hopefully we're live again. I think it crashed for a second there. I don't know if you guys heard it on the stream, but it made a really odd noise and then it crashed. But hopefully we're back. Russell says, hi Focal, Ramsey for Gundogan or Jimenez for Edouard this week, but also with Game Week 30 in mind. For -12, really don't want to wildcard or use my last free hit left. Yeah, so Ramsey to Gundogan, for Gundogan, I like that move. Jimenez for Edouard. I think I like the Ramsey move more, just about, but yeah, Edouard is a problem. Obviously, he's not been getting good minutes recently, so Jimenez is an option as well, but I think I would go Ramsey, just about, not much in it. The problem with Wolves, like we were saying earlier, they've got this double now, and they don't blank in 30, but they're not an attacking side. They're really, really disappointing offensively. It's really in defence where the options are. So Jimenez, honestly, is not a great option in isolation. We're just considering him because of these blanks and doubles. So I think I'd go Ramsey, if you can't afford Coutinho, that is. Dan Patterson says, only way to get a Chelsea defender this week is to sell Van Dijk. Is it worth it? I only have 0.3 mil in the bank, so I can't swap me out. I would be tempted to consider Van Dijk to Reece James, personally, if I had Trent as well. If you don't have a Liverpool defender, then it's a bit of a different story, but I would be very tempted to do Van Dijk to Reece James or Rudiger. I think if I had two Liverpool defenders, then I would consider that move, and I'd probably even captain the Chelsea defender. So you're bringing in a captain as well, so therefore I would be very tempted to make that move, Dan. We caught up? No, we're not. Did I miss another message? I'm so sorry for the messages I'm missing. I don't intend to do that. Alex says Bowen to Ramsey or Bowen to Van Dijk to Coutinho for... Hang on. Bowen to Ramsey or Bowen and Van Dijk to Coutinho and James for a hit. Yeah, I would take the hit. I like the Van Dijk and Bowen to Coutinho and James. Good pair of moves, that. As long as you're set up for Game Week 30 though, Alex. Obviously, if that leaves you short in Game Week 30, then I wouldn't do it. Because obviously Bowen plays in 30. So does Ramsey. So there's something to be mindful of. But yeah, I like those moves. H-Bomb says, is White to James worth it in the medium term with no wild card and only one free hit? White to James, yes, I like that. Medium term, only one free hit. As long as, like I said, it doesn't leave you short in Game Week 30, because Ben White does have a game in Game Week 30, whereas Reece James blanks, so something to consider. Basically, see how you look when you're in Game Week 30. If you're selling White and then you end up having, you know, like 7 players in Game Week 30, then I'd say it's not worth it. But I like the James move. I think he's a genuine captain option as well this game week. Am I playing my bench boost? No, I'm not playing my bench boost. I've actually played it already earlier in the season. So my plan is I'm going to do me to James and Pope to Dubravka. So it does mean my bench is going to be a bit strong. I'll probably have Tierney, Ramsdale on my bench. Not ideal to be benched in the defensive double up, but I think I'll start Saka. If I still had my bench boost, I'd be using it either this game week or next. Probably this game week, as I wildcarded back in Game Week 26. Matip or Tierney? Tierney, I believe Matip's out this game week with an illness or injury. I forget which it was, but I think he's out. Bench Saka or Robertson? That's a really hard one. If you've got Trent or another Liverpool defender, then Robertson. If I had Reece James, would I triple captain him? No, I wouldn't triple captain him. I think Salah in 29 is a better opportunity to triple captain. Cancelo to James. Yeah, I love that move. Cancelo to James is a good move. High upside in that one. I think James, Rudiger, both genuine captain options, even though they're defenders. I think they're really good options, and they're among the top for predicted points. Just checking if there's any leaks or any early news and whatnot. Doesn't look like it. YouTuber, thanks for the donation. He says he's got Foster, Rudiger, Digne, Cody, Salah, Coutinho, captain, Ward-Prowse, Rafinha, Adams, Watkins, Jimenez. And on the bench, he's got Ramsdale, Trent, Saka, and Cancelo. What would you change about the first 11? You don't have the bench boost. So on the bench, you've got Trent, Saka, and Cancelo. I don't see anyone you can realistically bench. That's the problem, because your starting 11 have doubles. Not ideal though to have such a strong bench, I have to say. Bench could really hurt you this game week, but you don't really have a choice. I think you have to back the double game week players when it's that sort of decision. So I think if starting 11 is exactly what I would play, yeah, it'd be even worse if you bench a double game week player and the single game week player you start blanks, if that makes sense. So I think I would have the same starting 11 if that was my team and bench. Stefan says Pope, Tarkowski and Bowen out. Dubravka, James and Saka in for -8, or use the bench boost. Is it worth it? Or just Dubravka and James and save the bench boost. Perhaps see how your bench looks in Game Week 29, Stefan. If you can save on a hit and still bench boost in 29, which you very possibly can, then I'd be inclined to bench boost in 29 instead. Dubravka, James and Saka. I think Dubravka and James is fine, and then you save the Saka move for when they double in 29, if that makes sense. Karen says Tierney and Bowen to James and Rudiger. Saka for a -4. It allows me to bench boost with 3 Arsenal players, and I'd rather have Saka than Tierney for 29. So Tierney and Bowen to James and Rudiger, and Saka for a -4. So Tierney to James. I like that only if you're okay for Game Week 30, because obviously you're dropping a Game Week 30 player who does have a fixture in Tierney, and in Bowen actually. Saka's fine because obviously he has the fixture in 30. But if it enables the bench boost, then I'd say go for it, but as long as it doesn't leave you shortchanged in Game Week 30. Andreas says, I have Saka, Dennis, Ramsey, Fernandes, Lamptey and Cornet. Currently the 3 last ones are benched. Would you change anything? So you're benching Cornet, Lamptey and Fernandes. Yeah, I think you have. Yeah, I think that's what I would do as well. It's not ideal to be benching Fernandes. I would much rather move him on for someone like Heung-min Son and start him. Not great to be benching someone as expensive as Bruno. But no, I'd do the same thing. I think that's be my bench as well. Marcus says, James and for Digne. I already have Trent, Robertson, Kilman and Tierney. No, I don't think I'd sell Digne. It's a really, really good double for Aston Villa. I wouldn't be selling Digne. And you've got Trent, Robertson, Kilman and Tierney. No, I think I would just leave it. I don't think I would be selling Digne before this double gaming. It's a really good double for Aston Villa, to be honest with you. They play against Southampton and Leeds. So, good fixture. Digne on set pieces. I don't think I'd be dropping him. Quick look at the clean sheet odds. These are from checkthechance.com, and they've basically aggregated the odds across both games. So Chelsea way out in front, 75.5% chance of keeping a clean sheet in either of their 2 games. Second is Wolves with a 66% chance. Southampton third, 49% chance. Aston Villa. Liverpool, despite the single, at home to West Ham, 45% chance. And it's West Ham who travel to Anfield. They're rock bottom, 9.5% chance. Man United face Man City away at the Etihad, 12% chance. What do you guys think is going to be the result of the Manchester derby? Think Man United get anything there? I have to say, Ruben Diaz is a huge miss. I imagine it'll be Laporte and John Stones that start centre-back. GOP says, Foster or Ramsdale? If that's who to start, Foster. if it's who to bring in, Ramsdale. Zabrudis reckons it's a 2-1 win to City. I would say the same. I'll go 2-1 City. Brian and Andre says 1-1. Tiro reckons 2-1 to City. 1-0 City, Mr. Dame says. As he says, Rafinha, Havertz, Rudiger, Coutinho for captain. So, in my opinion, this game week, the captaincy is so spread that you can afford to go with your gut. But, if I was going to pick one of those, it would be Rudiger. But I think this is game week not to shy away from your gut pick, if that makes sense. You know, captaincy is so spread this game week. You know, Salah's got a single, which makes him a lot less captain than he would be. Otherwise, he would be comfortably the most captain player if this was just a single game week in isolation. But due to the double, there's so many options like James, Rudiger, Coutinho, Rafinha. Maybe even you can make the case for someone like Broja. So I think this is a game where you can afford to go with your gut with the captaincy, but I would go for Rudiger out of those four. Yash says Hwang or Broja. I'd say Broja. Tommy reckons Man United win 2-1. Appreciate everyone that's tuning in so far. We've got just under 3,000 watching. If you are enjoying this stream, do hit like on it. We've got 460 likes. Let's get it over 500. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that as well. Appreciate you all being here. Tag me in a photo on Twitter where you're watching from, and I'll retweet it. Love to see where you guys are watching from around the world. Oberist says, start Cancelo or Saka. I think I'd start Saka. Maston says, Rudiger or James, who's the captain? I would go James. In fact, I still need to make my moves. I'm probably going to lock it in very shortly because it would be an absolute nightmare if the site crashed. But my plan moves are Pope to Dubravka and me to James. And then James is going to be my captain. Big Clams watching from Sydney. Johnson, Seattle. Where's everyone watching from around the world? We've got Bossman from New York City. Bojan from Serbia. Thanks for the donation, Conrad. He says, Robertson for Rudiger. Use the cash for Bowen to Coutinho or Mount or Ramsdale for Sarr. I don't think I'd go Robertson to Rudiger, to be honest with you. I think I would avoid that because you're only going to want Robertson back when they double in 29. So I think it's a bit too of a hokey-cokey move because you're going to regret it come game week 29, I think. Use the cash for Bowen to Coutinho or Mount. I like Coutinho more between those two. Ramsdale for Sarr. No, I think I would do the Coutinho move. We've got Turkey, Croatia, South Africa in the chat, Arab Emirates, Canada, Greece, Ukraine, Pakistan, Ireland, Hong Kong, Dublin. Ashik says, Captain Rudiger or Thiago? Rudiger. Alpha says he's in my mum's house. Zelda's in Hertfordshire. Indescribe says Malaysia, Nepal, Qatar, Zimbabwe, Lisbon. Just got a message from someone I used to work with. They're watching the stream. Ah, so someone I used to work with, she's had a baby quite recently, and I'm not even sure if the baby's one yet. Maybe just turned one, and it's a photo of the baby watching me on the stream. That is amazing. They've got me on their TV. Yeah, like I said earlier, tag me in a photo on Twitter, guys, where you're watching from, and I'll retweet it. I love to see where everyone's watching from around the world. Jimmy's watching from Barbados. Leanne's in South Africa. Jay says he's using the free hit. Which Chelsea 3 defender combination should I pick? Currently thinking Silva, Rudiger, Havertz. Should I swap to Mount? The 3 I'd go for is James, Rudiger, and Havertz on a free hit. Those would be my 3. Zayeb says, would you bench boost Ramsdale, Tierney, Saka and King? Use the wild card. Yes, I would bench boost that. I think that's a very strong bench. I think I would. But I think you'll get a better option. Although it's a single game week bench, besides King, realistically, you know, when we get to game week 36, which could be a big double, you're likely to have a single game week bench as well. Lee Ellison says, I've taken a -4 to get Willock and Rudiger in. Is Foster to Sarr for a -8 hit worth it? Foster to Sarr from -8. No, not worth it. Did I miss a message? I think I'm caught up. Am I? Yes, I think so. Global Ordism says Salah or Rafinha on a free hit. You have to have both, really. If I was on a free hit, you can't not have Salah, and I think you have to have Rafinha as well. I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but you need to find a way to have both of them, in my opinion. Although it's a single game week for Salah, we've seen many times before this season and in the past where we jump on players like Weghorst, Dennis, Josh King, and they disappoint us in their doubles. And then a single game weeker ends up doing the best of them all. You know, as recently as the Burnley double, it was Son or Kane that should have been our captain. Most of us went for Weghorst, and he got us, what, 3 points across 2 games? So I think you have to have Salah, but I think you also have to have Rafinha. He's among the top for predicted points. Vaka, thanks for the £2. No message there, just a donation. Appreciate that very much. Ronald's watching from Zimbabwe. Max watching from India. What flag is that? Let me Google that flag. I don't even know what country that is. I'm not very good with flags. Oh, Bangladesh. Okay. Shout out to the art of football watching from Bangladesh. Obre says lock in your changes. Yeah, let me do that. And I need to tweak my moves as well. Otherwise, people always give me stick for that. Right, so it was... Oops, that doesn't look very good. I've got a custom layout that makes the stream look a bit tidier on the stream, but apparently it's cocked up the transfer layout. But it looks correct. Pope to Dubravka, me to James. Let me check if there's no last minute news and whatnot. Hang on, before I lock that in. Yeah, no last minute news. I'm locking it in. Confirmed transfers. Pope to Dubravka, me to James. Confirmed transfers. There it is. We'll go James in for Tierney and Dubravka in for Ramsdale. Not an ideal bench. I've got Ramsdale, Tierney, Bowen and Weghorst on the bench. Could get hurt by the bench a bit, especially if Watford fail to score against Arsenal, which could happen. Could make the case for benching Saka for Tierney, but I think they're about on even. Captain Reece James, vice captain Rafinha. Let's take a screenshot of that and post it on Twitter. Perfect. Right, so rank 591. Pope to Dubravka, me to James. 2 free transfers used. James captain. 5-day rest between Chelsea's 2 games. So I'm hoping that it's an indication he starts both, in which case he's the better pick than Rudiger. Boom, there it goes. Sweet. We've got just under 10 minutes till the deadline. Keep your questions coming. Thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. If you are enjoying the stream, do hit like on it. It massively supports the channel when you like the stream. Pratik says Coutinho, James, Rafinha, Salah captain. Coutinho, James, Rafinha, Salah. I think James, personally, he's my captain. That's not my lineup. Let me refresh that. There we go. Did I tweet the right lineup? Hopefully I did. I think James is the best captain personally. He's top for predicted points, so I think I have to back the data that I present. And the graphic I put out last night did have him top on the predicted points, so I'm going to Reece James captain. I think, honestly, the rest of those 3 are good as well. Like I said earlier, this is the game week where you can take a punt, go with your gut on captaincy if you want. Captaincy is so spread this game week that it's not the end of the world if you know, you go for one and they're not the right pick. But yeah, there's so many good options this game week. Alvin Block says Ramsdale or Sarr. If that's who to start, it has to be Sarr. If it's who to bring in, then I think Ramsdale is going to be better over the remainder of the season. Obviously, Arsenal have a couple of postponements, whereas Wolves currently don't have any. So I think Ramsdale is going to score more over the remainder of the season. And that's something we have to bear in mind with some of these transfers. There's 10 game weeks left and then the season's over. So some of these transfers we make now are transfers that will last us for the entire season. And in my case, I could end up having a back 4 of Trent, Robertson, James and Tierney for the remainder of the season. there could be weeks where I bench Tierney, but a back three of Trent, Robbo and James is, you know, a solid back three for the remainder of the season. So hopefully that's what James will be, a season keeper. I brought him in earlier in the season and he served me very well, so I'm hoping he can do the goods again. I saw an interesting stat that Burnley and Norwich are among the sides who concede the most chances down their left flank, which of course is Reece James's flank, so that's an interesting stat as well. The skip says White to Rudiger for a -4. I had to rid White next week. If you have to get rid of him next week anyway, then yeah, it's worth the -4. Thanks for the donation, Friendly Bane. No message there, but I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Did I miss any other messages? Hopefully not. I'm so bad at this. Patriotic Irish says -8. Veghorst, Soufal and Cancelo to James, Saiss and Jimenez and bench boost for a -8. James, Saiss and Jimenez. Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's a reasonable -8. But what I would say is have a look at your team and see if you can get an equally good bench in 29 with one less hit. You might find that you can. If you can't, then go for it. I think a -8 and bench boost that is reasonable because that's a very, very strong bench. But if you can avoid the hit and you've got an equally strong bench in 29, then I think 29 is a better opportunity to bench boost. Thanks for the donation as well to Tender. There's no message, but I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Marva says Raf or Coutinho or Rudiger captain. I think Rudiger. But like I said earlier, they're all very good options. I think captaincy is going to be very spread this week. It's going to be interesting to see on the Discord who the most popular captain is. We've got a dedicated channel for that. It shows you the Gameweek stats, the effective ownership and whatnot. Tendai says Captain Broja, Jimenez, Willock, Ramsey or Rudiger. Rudiger. Thank you to Ingy. I always forget whether it's Ingy or just Ing. For renewing the membership for 3 months. Says Norway, Mount for captain can take a risk and free hit. I don't think I'd free hit, but it's team dependent. I think it's very team dependent, but I think there's better opportunities to free hit than this week. And you've gone for Mount for captain, fair enough. I mean, in the reverse fixture early in the season, Mount got a hat-trick and an assist against Norwich for 24 points, which is the biggest score of the season in a single game. Joint with Salah, who also actually got 24 that game week. So I don't hate Mount captaincy. It's a little bit risky, but no, he's a good option. I think the Chelsea double's worth taking a gamble on for captaincy. If anyone is interested in becoming an fplfocal member, it includes early access to my videos and there's a private channel on the Discord where I give team feedback. Links in the description. There's also a Patreon link if you prefer to use that or prefer not to give your money to Google or whatever, which some people do. Someone said lovely dog, but I've lost the message now. He is lovely. He's been very good today, but he's been behaving himself. He likes to get involved with the streams sometimes. He doesn't know what's going on, but he knows something's going on. He's the same when I'm recording my videos, because right now I'm talking like quite loud. You know, if I was talking to someone else in this room, I wouldn't be talking this loud, because they'd think I'm having a go at them. So yeah, he knows something's up when I'm doing these streams and recording videos. Doesn't quite know what's going on, but he's a smart lad. He knows about 5 or 6 tricks now as well. He can do like a dance. He gets on 2 legs and like puts his arms up like this. He can do like a spin, stay, sit. Is Kilman a rotation risk? I would say no. I think he's one of the safer Wolves defenders, so I would say no. He's not a rotation risk. I think Cody and Saiss are the 2 most nailed, but Kilman I'd say is as well. I think he's barely... I don't even know if Kilman has been benched this season. Maybe once. It was Amoretti, he said lovely dog, that was it. Gerald says Rafinha benched. Surely not. Where are you seeing that? I mean, regardless, he's in my starting 11. I'm not seeing anything on Leeds. Let's have a quick look for any last minute leaks or whatnot. No last minute leaks, looks like. Keep your questions coming in. Final reminder to sort your captaincy out, bench in the right order and whatnot. Salah versus Reece James captain. I think Reece James is the best option. Rudiger as well if you've got him. John says, who's the top 5 captain picks? Don't have Rafinha. Top 5. James, Rudiger, Rafinha, Coutinho, and Who'd be the last one? Someone I'm forgetting here. Maybe a Southampton forward. Probably Salah, to be honest with you, even though he's got a single. I think we're overlooking Salah. Michael's made a last-minute decision to captain Salah. Speak of the devil. Yeah, Salah, it's home to West Ham. It's their first game after the League Cup win. It's going to be absolutely bouncing at Anfield, so I think Salah honestly could do very well this game week, but it's difficult to consider the single game because when there's other players who have doubles, but are we making the same mistake again that we did with Weghorst, King, Dennis? I know some players like Reece James, Coutinho and Rafinha aren't the same calibre of player as King and Dennis and Weghorst. You know, I'd say those three are a tier below. But, you know, it's Salah at home to West Ham. West Ham haven't been great defensively. I'll chuck a final link to the Discord in the chat. If anyone's not on the Discord, then I'll be on there straight after the stream. And the other thing I'll do after the stream is I'll add the timestamps to the stream in case anyone has missed parts of the stream and whatnot. Oscar says locked. Is that it? Locked in, says Gerald. We're at the deadline. 11 o'clock. We made it. Ivan says, here we go. After Captain Mount. Who did everyone go for captain then? Captain's in the chat. Who did you guys go for? Let's have a quick look, see if I got any tagged in any photos of where people are watching the stream from. There's one from DJ. Retweet that. Tuna Mayor says your streams are nice. Good luck this game. We'll retweet that. Hopefully you guys don't have anything incriminating on your tabs on your browser. I'm retweeting without looking. There we go. Retweet that. Watch from India. FPL Sadiq. Right, so chat's going very divided. Coutinho, James, Salah, Jimenez, Rudiger. Ox for life missed the deadline. Nightmare. Mount, Alonso, Sarr captain, interesting. Coutinho, quite a few Coutinhos. Coutinho could be a popular one. On the captain poll we saw that he was quite heavily captained. So, I think what we'll do, we'll find a stream to raid. Let's see who is live that we can go and raid. Maybe the FPL Penguin. Who should we raid? Who's live right now? He's such a good guy, FPL Penguin. I think he'd be a good one to go and raid. What do you guys think? He's such a lovely guy. I think we should go raid FPL Penguin. Honestly, his reaction will be everything. Let's do that. Let's go raid FPL Penguin. I'll chuck his stream in the chat. So thank you again everyone who has tuned in. Final reminder to like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. But we're going to head over to FPL Penguin's stream. So let's go raid him there. Tell him fplfocal sent you. Hopefully he's not about to finish his stream. That's it from me. Thank you everyone. Focal out. Oh no, he's going. He's finishing. No, don't go. He's cancelled his stream. No. Alright, we'll find someone else. We'll find someone else to raid. Abort. Alright, let's see who else is live. I'm so bad at raiding streams, I'll tell you what. Should we go to FPL Raptor? FPL Raptor, FPL Captain, FPL Wizard, Insanely Football, FPL Island, FPL Island, we'll go there. Alright, new link in the chat. We'll go there. FPL Wire. That's the one we're raiding. Everyone head there. I'll see you over there. Tell them FPL Focal sent you. Thanks everyone. Appreciate you tuning in. Focal out.